My husband just dug this up whilst gardening, and he's quite excited about it. It's registered on September 21st, 1876, which is also my birthday, but not the year, obviously. Does anyone know what it is? It's a Victorian skirt lifter, used to keep the hem of their long skirts or dresses from dragging on the ground. During the Victorian era, women's skirts were often floor-length, voluminous, and made of heavy fabric. When walking outdoors, especially on muddy or wet streets, there was a risk of soiling or damaging the garments. The lower part is clamped onto the skirt fabric, and the upper part has a ring, hook, or chain that could attach to the woman's waistband or chatelaine. By pulling the chain, the hem of the skirt would be lifted several inches off the ground. It also offers greater freedom of movement, especially when climbing stairs or stepping into a carriage. My coworker gave me this. He said he thought it was over 100 years old. I doubt that, but I have no idea what it is. It is a soft metal and there's Venezia written on it. Any suggestions? It's a 19th century letter opener, shaped like a gondola iron, which serves to counterbalance the weight of the gondolier standing at the stern. In Italian, this part of the gondola is called the ferro di prua, and there is supposedly symbolism behind the shape. The S shape represents the Grand Canal. The 6 forward-facing teeth are the 6 districts of Venice, while the one at the back represents the island of Giudecca. The elegant curve at the very top represents the hat of the Doge, the historical leader of the Venetian Republic, while the arch above the highest tooth of the comb represents the Rialto Bridge. What is this Italian pan thing? I found this in the cupboard at a southern Italian holiday apartment. I have no idea what this is for. Approximate dimensions 15 centimeters high, 10 centimeters in diameter. The insert sits at the top and has large holes and a small handle. What do you use it for? It's a pot for boiling milk. The perforated lid allowed steam to escape while holding the milk, preventing spills. This type of milk boiler gained popularity in Italy during the second millennium, and ceramic versions were common. I don't think they are made anymore. I know it's a measuring device, but for what? My father was a scientist, and he collected all sorts of interesting old stuff. I'm cleaning out his old workshop, and I found this with other random things, scientific equipment, etc. I have been curious since I found it, and now I'm organizing my workspace and came across it again. It is marked E. Zimmermann Leipzig Berlin. It sits nice and flat on its 4 feet, and the hooks at the top of the dial look very intentional. All I was able to find was that there was a Zimmermann in Germany that made pianos, so perhaps this is a gauge of sorts for setting up part of a piano, or part of the tuning or maintenance process. Thanks in advance. It's an antique ophthalmodynamometer from circa 1900. It's a device used in a medical procedure called ophthalmodynamometry to measure the blood pressure within the retinal blood vessels by applying pressure to the eyeball. It has a calibrated plunger that is pressed against the eye, and the practitioner notes the pressure when the central retinal artery begins to pulsate and when it fully collapses. This measurement helps evaluate carotid circulation and can indicate problems with blood flow to the eye. What is this metal tool? Probably a farm implement, with a handle and a pointy end. We saw this hanging on the wall of a Cracker Barrel, and we couldn't come up with an explanation while we ate. It looks like there's a handle to dispense or operate something. Any clues? It's a 1920s plant setter used to plant tobacco sets. One side holds water. When you pull the handle, it allows some water out of one side and spreads the soil so that you can put the set down the other chute. Then you have a planted, watered young plant. Note that when you pull the handle, there's a stopper that is raised up and then slams shut. That is for the water. My uncle found this while surveying for a new road. It measures 2 feet long, and the cylinder is about 12 centimeters in diameter. It might be related to the railway. What do you all think? It's a railroad flagging kit from circa 1950s or earlier and contain flares and a red flag. They are standard on every locomotive and used for emergency situations. They haven't changed in many decades at all. If there's an emergency, the conductor takes this with him to provide protection against other trains, etc. Source: I'm on the locomotive every day. What is this thing I just saw rolling down the road in downtown Anchorage, Alaska, just outside of Jabber? I saw two of them, and a separate truck with what I presume to be the tires. First time I've ever seen anything like this. Is this some kind of missile launcher? It's an HQ-16 surrogate target vehicle, used to train pilots for potential strikes on Chinese air defenses. It was actually on display at the Oshkosh Air Show this year, and they're moved to various ranges around the country. The HQ-16, originally developed by China and exported to several allied nations, is a mobile medium-range surface-to-air missile system capable of engaging multiple aerial targets, including fighter aircraft, cruise missiles, and unmanned platforms. What is this wooden rack with 24 bottles I bought at an antique store? I'm planning to use it to hold flowers. The rack is 24 by 4.5 by 3.5 inches. The sides of the rack go down to get the bottles out, and all the bottles are marked USAK sealed. What was it used for? It's an antique wooden milk test bottle rack used in the late 19th and early 20th centuries for testing the amount of butterfat in milk and quality control. Workers poured milk samples into the test bottles, added sulfuric acid, and then centrifuged them to separate and liquefy the fat, which collects in the flask's calibrated neck for measurement. This test was crucial for farmers to check milk quality and prevent dilution, and it remained the primary method for testing milk fat for decades due to its accessibility. It was patented on December 12, 1905 by John Matson of Dresser Junction, Wisconsin. What is this antique wooden instrument found on an estate sale post online? Sorry for the potato quality. I took a picture of a computer screen. They listed it as 11 inches long, which is bigger than it appears in the picture. It looks like one of those systems used in a big house to call a servant, with a display to indicate the room where the servant was required, plus a button to reset. If anyone knows what it's been used for or has any other information on it, I'm super curious. Please let us know down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Let's make life fun.